If you want to go from C's, D's, or F's to straight A's, then keep watching. Is there specific things that you can do in order to improve your grades? Yes. After today's video, if you implement these 4 tips into your habits, I promise you, you will see a huge improvement in your grades. Hello and welcome to Learn with Jess. I am Jessica, and today I'm going to share over a decade of knowledge in order to help individuals improve grades. I am not only a former teacher, but I also am a student. I did not always get straight A's, believe it or not. There were times in my life that I really struggled. But through growing and learning, I learned tips and strategies to help me continually get better grades. So let's jump into the 4 tips that I'm going to share with you today that you can implement starting tomorrow. Tip 1 is one of the easiest things that you can do. Follow directions. As a teacher, it is no surprise that most students get points docked off their final grade because they don't follow directions. Even my college professors would always say, make sure you
read the directions.
Make sure you go back and
reread the directions.
Realistically, our brains miss things the first time. So we always want to go back and reread what is expected of this assignment. For example, you are going to read the directions one time. Get an idea of what is expected. Then you are going to go back and reread or highlight the things that are needed in the assignment. Most of the time, your instructors will include a rubric. If they include a rubric, download or highlight everything you need in order to get all of the points possible. I struggled with having test anxiety through a lot of my college years. So for me, I wanted to get as many points as possible on assignments. That way, it gave me flexibility if I didn't do so well on the exam. The biggest part of getting good grades is having an accumulation of as many points as possible. So if we want as many points as possible, we want to make sure we are hitting everything asked of us in the directions. Tip 2 is ask for help when needed. So if you are reading the directions and there's something you do not understand, do not assume. Always ask. When I was in 6th grade, I struggled in math. So I asked my teacher, Mr. Payne, if he would show me some things, and he was more than happy to do so. So he spent like 3 or 4 days with me after school for like 20 minutes showing me some extra examples on math. And this really showed that I'm not stupid. I just need one more example or need to be shown it a different way in order to understand it. This also taught me as a teacher that some students just need another way of seeing something. 100% of the time, it's not because we're dumb. It's because we just need a little bit of an explanation or a further example. The difference between somebody who is struggling and the difference between somebody who does well is that person who does well is aware of their struggles and they do the best they can to overcome them. So if you have free resources at your school, make sure that you use them, or ask a student who's doing well, or join study groups. So again, asking for help when needed is the difference between a C and an A. I also wanted to remind you that who you are as a person is not determined off of the grades you get. So maybe your goal is to go from a C to a B or a D to a C. That is still great improvement. But since the video is how to get straight A's, I'm going to focus on that for now. Tip 3, go above and beyond. So for me personally, if I have a project or a writing assignment coming up, I'm going to ask myself, what can I do to really top this off? What can I do to give just a little bit extra so my instructor sees that I really care about what I'm doing? As a former teacher, I would give extra points for students who went above and beyond on all assignments. As a college student, I had professors give me extra points because, again, I went above and beyond. Now, this one I do want to throw in. If the professor is very picky or your teacher is very picky, you want to ask, can I write an extra page? Can I write an extra paragraph? Because sometimes you will get marked points off for not following directions, so you always want to make sure that is okay. Tip 4 is study. There really is no way around this, but there is a way to do this effectively. If you have ever crammed for a test or exam, you know that you already feel anxiety leading up to the exam. So now you're not only cramming for a test, but you're putting your body through stress and anxiety. And realistically, your brain cannot process that much information in one night. Research shows that 20 to 30 minutes of studying is way more effective than 1 to 4 hours. So really, you want to set a time to study throughout the week that isn't taking out a huge chunk of time. This is also going to alleviate stress and anxiety. So the next question is, how do you study? Well, if your teacher gives you a study guide, do it throughout the week, here and there. That way it gives you more time to ask questions if you're confused about something. I also encourage you to go over lecture notes. So make sure that you're writing notes in class. A lot of times teachers are very specific and they will tell you,
this is going to be on the test. This is going to be on the exam.
So make sure you either put a star or a check mark next to the information and know that this is going to be on the test, so I need to review this. Another helpful hint is that a lot of professors and teachers will pull previous questions from quizzes to put on the final. So for me, I would go back and look at the questions I got incorrect, so that way if they come up again, I don't miss them a second time. So again, studying does not have to be this overwhelming 4 hours of work. Make it easy for yourself. Do 20 to 30 minutes 3 or 4 times a week. And make sure you are doing your study guide. If you slowly implement these 4 strategies, I promise you, you will see an improvement in your grade. And if all else fails, just ask your teacher ahead of time, not the day before grades are due, but ask your teacher or professor or instructor, hey, what can I do to improve my grade? In one of my graduate classes, I kept getting marked down on my writing papers, and I couldn't figure out why, because I was following the rubric, and I never had this issue before. And my professor said to me,
in your introduction paragraph, I need you to list out your continuation of points.
It was a very simple and easy fix. And once I did that, boom, I got a better grade. Most of the time, instructors are more than happy to give you specific feedback on what you can do in order to improve your grade. So again, I am not a rocket scientist. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I use these tips through all of my education in order to continually get good grades. In the comments below, please let me know what you find most helpful and what do you think is realistic for you to actually implement. I hope that this really helps you to get those straight A's that you want. And on that note, I will see you in my next video. Have a beautiful day. Bye.